Hi, Phil Aston here from Now Spinning Magazine with another album review. And this time it's Francis Rossi and Hannah Rickard and their solo album, We Talk Too Much. Now, I've recently interviewed Francis Rossi. We've talked about this album and Status Quo at length. It's a fantastic interview where Francis also picks up his guitar and actually strums along and shows how some of the great Quo songs and songs from here came together. Now, I'm saying that because somebody sent me a message when they knew I was going to be reviewing this album saying, oh, that aspect of Francis Ross I'm not interested in that kind of country stuff. I just like Quo. Well, you know that from what I do here on Now Spinning Magazine, I love all formats and I love all genres of music. I love music. I love everything about music. And yes, when I was younger, my field of vision with my ears was narrow. I liked what I thought I liked within those parameters, and anything outside of that that took me out of my comfort zone, I just said it's not for me. And as that decade, the 70s, progressed, I started to actually, via bands like Deep Purple with Tommy Bolin, discover Billy Cobham, discover jazz, discover soul. Now, as I've said many times, I'm not sure what I don't like anymore, because I just like music. I like songs. I like melody. I like music that moves me. This album ticks a lot of those boxes. Why? Because it's joyous, it's upbeat, it's positive, it's fun. It makes me smile. And I think it's important to say this for those of you who think, but it's got no relation to Quo. I'm going to pick this album in particular, On the Level, because On the Level has Down Down on it, which is my favourite Status Quo song. I bought it, I think it's the fourth single I ever bought in my whole life. I just absolutely loved it, still do. And I was interesting when I was playing this album because it says on it, on the cover, and the reason why I'm reviewing this particular version is this is the first time it's been out on vinyl. And yes, I still feel that is a strange thing to say. First time on vinyl. I guess, some of us, I just grew up seeing things like first time on CD. Anyway, this is the first time on vinyl. The album originally came out in 2019. The point I'm trying to make is that Francis says this collection of music steers well away from the sound and feel of the work that I do with Quo. And it takes elements of my own personal favourites, of my love of country, Americana, etc. And when I spoke to Francis, I said, do you still think that? And the reason is that I approached it thinking, well, it's not going to be like Status Quo. But when I was talking to Sue, my wife, about it, when we listened to it, because we listened to it quite a lot, we listened to it in the car, at home, etc. And Sue says, I can hear ELO, I can hear REM, I can hear Robert Plant and Alison Krauss. Is it got something to do with Status Quo? Yes, because there are songs on here, and there's not just one, but there's Ought to Know by Now, I'm Only Happy, Sinking in Blue, Maybe Tomorrow Especially, which could easily be Status Quo songs. And one of the things that I asked Francis when I was talking to him was, because he writes all of the music on acoustic guitar, he was always written music on acoustic guitar. And the thing is, when you write music in that way, it's very different to having a band around you where the drummer and the bass player are kind of putting down a groove and the guitar player starts putting down riffs and chord sequences, and you start to try and work out melodies around the music that's already coming around from this kind of like jam session. And many rock and metal bands work like that. But if you write music, just you and a guitar, it's all about the melody. And all of you will know, if you're Quo fans, will know that you go back to any major Status Quo song, and there is melody in the verses, not just the chorus. It's not just about building up to the chorus. There is melody. The part you can whistle to or hum along to is in the verse. It is in the chorus, but it's also in the middle eight. The whole thing is melody. So if you strip back any Quo song, Down Down, Caroline, anything, they're actually perfect pop songs, really. And during the interview, Francis actually shows how Down Down came together. And what I said was that with this album, which I love, is that when you write music like that on acoustic guitar, Francis is just writing music. And of course, he's written this obviously with Hannah Rickard as well. And they sing in unison together, and it's just beautiful. And Hannah's violin playing is wonderful as well. Is that you realise that when you write music like this, it's the arrangement and the instrumentation that decides whether it's going to be a rock song, a soul, funk, disco, pop song, whatever you like. It's just songs. It's just music. And that's what comes across with this album, is that, you know, Francis and Hannah made an album that is just beautiful. And if you look on Amazon and look at all the reviews, they're nearly all 5-star. So yes, it is different to On the Level in some ways. But if you strip it back and listen to the melodies and the songs, it's still from the hand of Francis Rossi, and many of the songs from Bob Young as well. So that writing team is there. But it's a great song. The album. One of my favourite tracks, which is different to Quo, is actually the title track, which has to me, a strong bearing towards ELO and Jeff Lynne. And of course, Jeff Lynne is one of Francis Rossi's favourite songwriters and artists. So there is that aspect to it. And if you liked Robert Plant and Alison Krauss's albums, you'll like this. It is kind of that kind of Americana. The difference is, of course, that Robert Plant's and Alison's album, they were doing lots of covers. This album is made up of all original music from Francis and Hannah. But as I do this, the sun is shining, there's a blue sky at last in the UK, the summer's coming, and this sounds like summer, it sounds like a blue sky, and I just love music that is upbeat, joyous, positive and uplifting, and this is so. We Talk Too Much, out on vinyl for the first time. Beautiful stuff. And I must say, this also has an extra track. Remember the old days when the CD had the extra track? Not so much this time. It's the vinyl album that's got the extra track called Broken Memory, and it's a great track as well. So this is from Ear Music, Endo Music, and it's out now, and it's highly recommended. So if you're a Quo fan and you followed them and you followed Francis Rossi, this is a great album. It's a lovely pressing as well. So thank you for watching, thank you for being here. Remember, music is the healer and the doctor. So keep spinning those discs, stay safe, and I shall see you all very, very soon. Remember to subscribe.